One Piece, Chapter 13, Treasure. Welcome once again, brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, of course, am Jim, bringing you semi-half-assed wannabe professional reviews of the epic tale of One Piece. We are now on Chapter 13, and I usually don't mention the title. I mean, it's usually in the title that I put before this, and then I announce it, but this one was called Treasure. And I like this chapter for a number of reasons, and I'll get to the reason that treasure to me was a very good name for this one. At first, I thought that it meant getting Buggy the Clown's treasure or the map of the Grand Line, but it really has nothing to do with that. So anyway, our chapter starts out at the end of last chapter. Of course, finally Luffy was freed by being his cage pretty much exploding, and Mohji sicking his lion Richie on him, and Richie pretty much just blew apart the cage and knocked him straight clear through a wall, collapsed a house, and he wound up on the block behind him. But as we know, Luffy, although he cannot swim, he can stretch out very nicely, and things like that do not hurt him in the traditional sense. So it winds up being it starts out, and he then goes and winds up seeing Boodle and Nami, and Boodle's like the mayor of Port Town. He's like, what the hell is going on with you? How are you still alive, right? And he explains, says, I'm a rubber man, it's fine. And at any rate, at this point, he hears the dog. He hears Chou Chou, the dog that we were introduced to that swallowed the key, and we were introduced to in the last chapter. And he hears him. He hears him barking. So anyway, it winds up going and flashing to Chou Chou, and this is the whole reason that the chapter was named Treasure, and at least that's what I took from it anyway, is that Chou Chou loved his master. He was loyal to a fault, like dogs should be, but it's a great trait that and a quality that really only dogs have. I've always been a dog person myself. Cats I always thought were kind of like creepy and devious and whatnot, and that's just personal opinion and experience. But at any rate, this dog, as I told you in the last chapter, his master left a few months ago to go to the hospital and said, hey, watch the store until I get back, the pet food store. So anyway, the dog actually winds up having some flashbacks of when the store opened, when the store wasn't doing very well. Boodle, the mayor, came in and went and bought some bags of dog food just to kind of help keep him afloat. And it just showed a series of flashbacks and different things about how this dog was very profound, and everybody really liked him, and he was just the best, smartest dog around. So anyway, so Chou Chou goes in, and at the end of last chapter, I had forgot to mention, but Mohji, he wants to go and find Zoro. So he says, Richie, come on, we're going to go find him. Richie the lion, however, sees the pet food store, and he growls and points in that direction. He says, he's basically telling him, I want some food. I want a snack. So Mohji says, okay, you want a snack. That's where this whole confrontation started from, because Chou Chou is defending this store with his life, and very nearly gets killed doing it. So anyway, this dog winds up standing his ground against a lion, and Mohji, the lion tamer, and he sicks the lion on him, and he gets slapped around, stepped on, ripped apart, but you definitely got to admire his heart, because he comes back and he bites the lion. He winds up actually scratching or biting Mohji as well. And just about at the point where Moji's like, you know what, enough with this frickin' dog, you're done, this is it, we're gonna kill you now. Of course, as I said a few minutes ago, Luffy had heard the dog barking and came to see what was going on. And this is another one of those moments that shows you how good and kind of a heart Luffy has. I don't care what anybody says. I've been told in the comments, remember, Luffy's a pirate and he's all about his goal and everything. And that's great, okay? But ultimately what I'm going to tell you is that kid's got heart. He's got loyalty, and he's got a lot of qualities that are very admirable, at least I find. And I don't care that it's a fictional character, okay? He is like a friend till the end, man. He will ride or die, come with you, come hell or high water, whether you're right or wrong. So he sees this dog going and standing his ground and standing up for something against overwhelming odds, and he steps in, and and Mohji says, hey, didn't we just take care of you, or didn't we just kill you? And he says, no, apparently not, So anyway, he goes and winds up using a new one of his signature moves, the fourth one, I believe, and he winds up taking both of his arms and twisting them over and over again, like in a corkscrew. And Mohji's like, what the hell? He's kind of freaked out, like what's going on? He's still in disbelief that Luffy's even alive after Richie knocked him through a house. Anyway, he winds up doing his move, and he says, Gomu, gavel, And anybody who doesn't know what a gavel is, it's what the it's when they say order in the court, it's the little hammer that the judges use. It's basically something to pound down on, So the next scene is great. I mean, he just fucking boom! I mean, knocks Richie, this lion who's 10 times its size or whatever, his Luffy's size, just straight up into the ground, and the only thing you see is the ass end of Richie sticking out of the ground, So anyway, Mohji goes, and then I just thought it was a great picture, a great page, and then the next page, Moji's talking to him and basically saying, what the hell is, what's your deal or whatever here, and now he's afraid of him, so. Or he's fearing him. Luffy says, and he just straight out tells him, he says, I ate the fruit of the devil tree, and he says, oh my god, I didn't know you ate the fruit of the devil tree just like Captain Buggy, Hey, listen, how much gold do you want? Can we just kind of can we just forget this never happened, right? And anyway, and this is another cool moment too, that you see the maturation process for Luffy and how he will defend the honor of a friend until he dies. We saw it in the first chapter with him fighting and defending the honor of red-haired Shanks, right, of Captain Shanks, against Huguna, the mountain bandit. So at any rate, he basically says, no, I don't give a fuck if you apologize or not. You hurt one of my friends, and now it's all over. So he winds up going and using his stretchy power to go and grab him by the throat, bring him in, and just frickin' pummels him, man. It's really nice to see the direction that the art's going in. A lot of people have told me, they say, well, I didn't know that if you'd get into this, or some people think it's a little bit cartoon-like or childish. From what I understand, though, when this originally came out, it actually came out in the Shonen Jump magazine. So it was probably originally written to be more of a shorthand comic within there, and certainly the style itself has some exaggerated faces and things like that. But all in all, it's really cool because the story process is very grown up and very adult-like, even though some of the pictures to convey more words than you can put in a word bubble. Some of the pictures, they do use these big exaggerated faces, or when somebody's really angry, the tears popping out of their face and stuff. But all in all, I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool art style, and I'm just definitely looking forward to it progressing here over the next 700 some odd chapters until I'm finally caught up. So, but at any rate, so that's pretty much where the chapter ends. After that, we see the loyalty that he has, and and like I said, it's just something that you see. Even Boodle, winds up saying to Nami, because they think that, hey, this kid's crazy, right? And even Nami kind of notices and says, really? You went back? And she's pissed off at him still, She dislikes him. She's saying she's going to beat him up, and he kind of sticks his tongue out at her, and says, go ahead and do it. But at any rate, that exchange happens, and then she sees the dog and everything, and she sees the kindness in Luffy's heart. He walks over to the dog, and he gives him this little bag of dog food. He says, hey, sorry, buddy, that's all that was... it's all that was left. Everything else was either destroyed or burned, in the fight, that ensued, and with Richie and Mohji and everything. So it was a cool, touching moment, man. And the dog kind of goes and looks back at him and kind of gives him a rough, and Luffy says, hey, thanks. You have a good journey too, or whatever. And like I said, it was just really nice to see something like that. It wasn't even a human that he stuck up for, but you can see, that he is loyal to a fault, and I think that there's something to be said for that. So all in all, like I said, I enjoyed it. It wraps up, the last page that it wraps up with is pretty much word getting back to Captain Buggy, or Buggy the Clown, or Captain Buggy the Clown, whatever you want to call him. That Mohji has been defeated, and of course that was his first mate and his henchman, his hatchet man that he would send out, so to speak. And he finds this out, and he's like, all right, that's it, get ready the super buggy balls or whatever, and the shit's over now. I'm not playing games anymore. So I think things are starting to come to a head over here. certainly we'll see in the next chapter, and there's only a few more before we close out this volume, so I'm assuming that we're going to get some pretty fast-paced chapters coming up over here, over the next one or two. So, as usual, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please don't forget to like, comment. Definitely appreciate all the feedback, especially when people are correcting me on things. Like, I didn't realize, I learned very early on that that it was a big faux pas to say Zolo instead of Zoro. It wasn't the way it's pronounced, blah blah blah. I was actually informed earlier today by Everything One Piece, who had made a comment, and he said, listen, just so you know, later on they actually fixed that. So whether it was a translation thing or what in the earlier issues, he said, so that's why everybody keeps correcting you. Even though I'm pronouncing it right now, I was still writing, even in the last couple of chapters ago, and I did that picture at the end of it. I put Rorono Zolo instead of Zoro. So I will definitely, I take those things to heart. I definitely appreciate the feedback with that, and the proper pronunciations. I'm going to start watching the anime as well to kind of get a better feel for the characters themselves and see some of these things. But certainly, Nation, I appreciate all the comments and all the feedback, positive or otherwise, man. I mean, it's been overwhelmingly positive, but hey, when there's things that I can improve on, I certainly take a lot of those things under advisement, suggestions and things like that. So keep them coming. Subscribe if you haven't. Please spread the word, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you, as always, Nation, for watching. I'd like to take a second and thank one of the members of the Nation, Sin Returns 70, who created that badass, slick intro that I now have and will have in the front of my videos. So go over and check out his page, give him a like, and let him know I sent you.